Peace and love. Welcome back to the Hope. This is the HOPE, helping our people elevate. If you're new here, we speak truth, raw, unfiltered, and rooted in history they don't want you to remember. Here we give a voice to the voiceless, and we shed light on parts of American history buried under silence and fear. Today's story is not just history, it's a lesson in courage, identity, and the fight for justice. This is the story of Walter Francis White, a black man so light skinned that he infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan, not to join them, but to expose them. Viewers' discretion is advised because this is America Unmasked. So before I get into the story, I want to give a few key facts about Walter Francis White. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was so light skinned that he could often, and sometimes he did, pass as white for investigative purposes. This unique appearance became a powerful tool in his activism. He also served as an executive secretary for the NAACP from 1931 to 1955. Under his leadership, the NAACP grew tremendously in membership and influence. White infiltrated over 40 lynchings and 8 race riots, often going undercover as a white man to infiltrate white communities and gather first-hand information about racial violence and Klan activity, where he risked his life to expose what the press and courts tried to ignore. And due to this, because of his light complexion and knowledge of Southern culture, he was able to blend in with white supremacists, attend Klan meetings, and gather intelligence. Some of them never knew he was black until long after the fact. His book, Rope and Faggot, a biography of Judge Lynching in 1929, was a powerful condemnation of lynching in America. He also wrote novels and articles highlighting the black experience and the fight for civil rights. Now let's jump into this. Peace and love, family.
On behalf of Akuno Sankofa for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope. HOPE. We're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know. Every day, one step at a time, man. We gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Sometimes I practice focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate. And seeking knowledge make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
Walter Francis White was born in 1893 in Atlanta, Georgia, a city still bleeding from the Civil War and still steeped in deep racial hatred. He was the son of former slaves, but his appearance told a different story. With blue eyes, blonde hair, and white skin, many assumed he was white. But Walter never denied who he was. He said it clearly, "I am a Negro," and he used his unique appearance not to escape blackness, but to serve it. He joined the NAACP in 1918 and eventually became a national secretary. But he didn't sit behind a desk. He put himself in the fire, literally walking into the lion's den armed with nothing but his conviction. In the early 1900s, lynchings were terrorism, not just random violence, but deliberate public displays of power meant to keep black people in fear. When the lynchings occurred, local white newspapers often lied, claiming the victims were guilty or the mobs were justified. Law enforcement stayed silent, and justice was nowhere to be found. So Walter White did the unthinkable. He went undercover. He'd enter towns where someone had just been lynched, posing as a white reporter. Locals welcomed him, not realizing they were confiding in a black man. He'd ask what happened, and they'd brag, telling him details, names, and how the mob formed. They never suspected he was there to expose them. One sheriff even gave him the rope used in the lynching as a souvenir. Walter would write detailed reports, naming names. He'd expose the lies, he'd expose the truth, and most of all, he forced America to confront the violence it wanted to hide. This wasn't safe work. Walter White walked on razor's edge every time he left his home. One slip, one wrong word, and he would have been lynched himself. In one town, someone discovered his identity. A man told him plainly, "If I had known you were a nigger, I would have killed you." This wasn't just bravery, it was warrior-level dedication to his people. He knew he could die, but he also knew silence was deadlier. Walter White investigated over 40 lynchings and 8 major race riots, including the 1919 Chicago race riot and the brutal burning of the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. He later led the NAACP on some of its most powerful decades, fighting for anti-lynching legislations, equal housing, and education. He helped lay the groundwork for the civil rights movement. He made the world listen. Yet today, many people have never heard his name. While America celebrates fake heroes and myths, the real ones, the ones who stared evil in the eye and didn't blink, got erased. So why does Walter White's story matter now? Because we still live in a country that punishes the truth, a country where black people still face violence, false accusations, and mass incarceration, while the system protects the aggressors. Walter White didn't pretend to be white because he was ashamed of who he was. He did it to protect his people. He weaponized their racism and flipped it on his head. He exposed America to itself, and in doing so, he forced it to look in the mirror. We need that kind of courage today. We need to study men like Walter because they didn't wait for change, they became it. Thank you for watching. If you felt something in this story, share it. Don't let Walter Francis White be forgotten. Share his name, share his courage, and share the truth. If you're new here, subscribe. We tell stories they tried to erase. Drop a comment below. What do you think about Walter's bravery? Would you risk your life like that today? Till next time, stay aware, stay strong, stay dangerous. Peace and love.
In 1947, Harry S. Truman became the first American president to pledge full support for equal rights for all Americans.
Our immediate task is to remove the last remnants of the barriers which stand between millions of our citizens and their birthright. There is no justifiable reason for discrimination because of ancestry or religion or race or color.
Sitting on a platform behind him was a small man named Walter White. This speech, this setting, and this presidential blessing had all been engineered by White and were the high point of his career. He had worked for the NAACP for almost 30 years and led it these past 17 years. White convinced Truman that not only was his cause just, but if the Democratic Party supported African American rights, Northern black voters were a potent voting group that held the key in the 1948 election. He helped the NAACP grow from a few white liberals and African American activists into a major organization with branches and members in most of the United States. He investigated lynchings by going undercover at risk of his own life and lobbied in the halls of Congress for a federal anti-lynching law. He became involved in legal campaigns to fight housing discrimination, gain educational opportunities, and to obtain the rights of African Americans to vote.